High FM, your station of choice since 2008.
South Africans have enjoyed a run of very good rainfall over the past few years, but forecasters are now warning that that weather pattern could be about to change. The World Meteorological, how well I said that, tripped off my tongue, organization says El Niño has returned and is expected to strengthen over the coming months. What does that mean? Does it mean hotter, drier summers, increased heat waves? Does it mean water shortages? To help us understand what it could mean for South Africans, we're joined by a climatologist and national authority on global warming, green issues, Simon Gear. Simon, a very good morning to you. Welcome back. Hope you're well.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, very well. For a Monday morning, anyway.
Yeah, well, there's a qualification if ever I've heard one. It means he's terrible, but okay, or it might not. But let's start with the basics. So what exactly is El Niño? Because we hear the word, it's out there, but it doesn't mean we actually understand what it means.
Yeah, so El Niño is the word given for variation in sea surface temperatures in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
It's called El Niño, which means the boy child in Spanish. And that's because it was first recognized over Christmas time, and it's devastated the fishing industry in the northern parts of South America, because there was it essentially stops the upwelling of cold, very fertile water off that coast. Very similar to what feeds our fishing industry here in South Africa, and so it's devastated that industry sort of in the early parts of the 1900s, and was named after Christmas, El Niño. And then La Niña is the opposite, where the Pacific cools slightly, and so it's called the girl child. So El Niño has a knock-on effect right the way around the world. And in South Africa, El Niño tends to mean hotter, drier summers for us. La Niña tends to mean slightly wetter summers, not necessarily cooler, but certainly wetter. And we've had a fairly weak La Niña, El Niño signal the last 3 to 4 years. It's enabled a really, really good couple of years of rainfall, particularly over the summer rainfall region. And now we're going to move into not just El Niño, but a very, very strong El Niño. And that is causing some concern that we might go into a very hot, dry summer.
How long does one of these systems traditionally last?
It's a cycle of about 3 to 4 years. So it'll reach a peak and then begin to ease, and then it should move into a La Niña cycle.
So in other words, it's not just one summer. I mean, given the fact that our dams, I'm a little obsessed with dam levels. Our dams are, even at this time of winter, really, really comfortable in terms of capacity. It doesn't mean that it's just one summer. It could, in fact, be longer than that.
Yeah, so probably 2 seasons.
Right.
We also need to realize that it's not responsible for 100% of our variation. So it's probably has about a 30% impact on our the variability of our rainfall. But certainly the seasonal forecast is for below normal rainfall for the central and western parts of the country. I'm now looking at the sort of September, October, November forecast. Round about normal for Gauteng, and then maybe slightly above normal for the East Coast. As the El Niño really does kick in, we probably should have a fairly dry start to 2027.
Right. And who's impacted most? I mean, is it the, I'm looking at the dams, but an area of real concern must be agriculture, surely.
Yeah. So we've had 2 really, really good grain seasons. Agriculture is impacted not only by the amount of rain you get, but by the timing of the rain. And I was chatting to a couple of farmers who were struggling a little bit about when they got the rain in the last season. But we can, so our grain stocks are are very full at the moment, and so that's obviously has the effect of bringing food prices down. What El Nino does do is it actually often impacts our northern neighbors more than us in some aspects, or certainly historically has, and so that could increase migration pressure, for example, into South Africa, which of course is a political hot potato.
Don't go there.
So it's a lot more complicated than just looking at the price of a ton of maize. It has all sorts of socioeconomic impacts right across Southern Africa.
What causes this? I mean, I know what causes it because you've explained the mechanism of it, but is this just a natural process? Is this just a natural thing, or is there a reason that these El Niños exist?
Yeah, so it's caused by a weakening of the winds that blow along the equator, which then decreases the amount of circulation in the Pacific Ocean and results in warming of the sort of first 10 meters of that ocean surface. That is a completely natural phenomenon. But what we are seeing with climate change and global warming is that we see greater variability in our weather. And the forecast has been for much stronger El Nino, La Nina events. And that certainly seems to be playing out.
Has that got anything to do with what we're seeing in Europe at the moment with these terrible heat waves?
Yeah, so Europe is, it's not an El Nino signal. It's
sure.
But it certainly is a global warming signal. I think we can say that fairly safely. What's happening there is a high pressure gets stuck over the central parts of Europe, and that feeds very hot, dry Saharan air in over Central Europe, and that's what's been pushing those temperatures up.
Right, and that is unfortunately where we do need to leave it. Simon Gear, thank you as always, bringing us information and an understanding of the world around us.